Your brain knows the difference between sex and masturbation, but probably not the way you think, because something strange happens during both. Your heart speeds up, your breathing changes, your brain's reward system becomes active, and eventually, you can reach the same biological destination, orgasm. So here's the weird question. If your body can end up in almost the same place, does your brain actually care how you got there? The answer is yes, but not for the reason you probably think.
Your body doesn't have a sex mode.
When you're sexually aroused, your body goes through a very recognizable sequence. Your heart rate rises, your breathing changes, blood flow shifts, and your nervous system becomes highly active. Then comes orgasm, and after it, something interesting happens. Prolactin rises sharply. You know that moment after orgasm when suddenly you don't even want sex anymore? That temporary drop in sexual arousal? Prolactin is part of the reason. So from the outside, sex and masturbation can look surprisingly similar. Your body isn't using one completely different biological system for each. A lot of the machinery overlaps, which raises a better question. If the machinery is so similar, where does the difference come from?
Your brain cares about the journey.
Your brain doesn't only care about what happens to your body, it also cares about what caused it. Think about eating your favorite food. Your brain doesn't just register calories, it also processes the smell, the taste, the environment, your expectations, and how you feel while eating it. Sexual reward works in a similar way. The physical stimulation matters, but so do things like anticipation, attention, novelty, emotion, and during partnered sex, another human being. So two experiences can end with an orgasm, while the brain has processed the entire journey differently. And this is where the first major difference appears. During masturbation, you usually have something extremely powerful: control. You control the stimulation, the rhythm, the pressure, and you already know your own body. Partnered sex is different. Now there's another person, their movements, their reactions, their timing, their expectations. You can't control every variable, and that changes the experience. Research comparing sexual responses has found differences between masturbation and partnered sex, including differences in orgasm timing and sexual functioning. And importantly, different doesn't mean better. It means your brain is processing a different experience.
Is the orgasm actually the same?
Now for the obvious question. Is an orgasm from masturbation biologically the same as an orgasm from sex? The answer is partly. A lot of the physiology overlaps, but researchers have found something fascinating. In one study, the increase in prolactin after intercourse was substantially larger than after masturbation. Why does that matter? Because prolactin is one of the signals associated with the body's shift from "I'm sexually activated" to "okay, we're done." So even when the endpoint is similar, the body's after response can be different. And that tells us something important. The brain and body aren't simply reacting to orgasm, they're reacting to the entire sexual experience.
It's not just about chemicals.
This is where online explanations usually become way too simple. You'll hear, sex releases this hormone, masturbation releases that hormone, but your brain doesn't work like a vending machine. You don't insert sex and receive dopamine, oxytocin, and prolactin. It's a network. Different neurotransmitters interact, hormones change, your nervous system changes, and your psychological state changes at the same time. That's why the same physical endpoint can happen, while the experience leading to it is completely different.
Your brain is also learning.
And here's something even more interesting. Your brain learns from rewarding experiences. If something repeatedly produces pleasure, your brain starts recognizing the cues that come before it, the environment, the sensations, the anticipation, the patterns. Eventually, some of those cues can become rewarding before anything even happens. And that's where dopamine becomes important. Dopamine isn't simply the pleasure chemical. It's heavily involved in motivation, learning, and anticipating rewards. So sometimes your brain isn't reacting to the reward, it's reacting to the possibility of the reward. Something good might happen, and that prediction itself can become powerful.
Masturbation is bad for you?
And now we can answer the question a lot of people probably had from the beginning. Is masturbation actually bad for you? For most people, no. Masturbation is generally considered a normal part of sexual behavior and isn't inherently harmful. It doesn't automatically cause things like weakness, infertility, blindness, or permanent testosterone loss. But that doesn't mean more is always better. The problem problem is usually not the act itself. It's when sexual behavior starts interfering with your life, your sleep, your relationships, your studies or work, or when you feel unable to control it despite wanting to. And there's another important distinction. Masturbation itself isn't the same thing as the way someone masturbates. If someone becomes heavily dependent on highly stimulating pornography, for example, the psychological and behavioral pattern becomes a separate question. So the better question isn't, is masturbation bad? It's, is this behavior helping my life or starting to control it?
Final reveal.
So yes, your brain knows the difference between sex and masturbation. Not because it labels one sex and the other masturbation. It learns from what happens, what feels rewarding, what predicts that reward, and what you repeatedly associate with it. And that's the part most people miss. Your brain doesn't just remember pleasure, it learns how to look for it. So the real question isn't just what feels good, it's what is your brain learning to expect?